Why do we hold discussions? Have you ever had an engaging discussion in class that opened your eyes to the subject matter or challenged the way you think? Talking with others about the things we are learning allows us to hear lots of different perspectives. As we listen to all of those perspectives, we think more about what we really believe ourselves and come to a new and deeper understanding of the topic. We also can hear or tell stories from our own lives that are related to the subject, and these experiences help us to both see yet another perspective and, perhaps more importantly, to think about how to apply true principles in our own lives. As you can see, such discussions allow students to teach and learn from one another. Thus, they are an important part of the Teach One Another step in the BYU Idaho learning model. In online courses, you will frequently use discussion boards to facilitate discussions. Unlike a discussion in class, online discussion boards are asynchronous activities. In other words, one student will post a comment, but it might take several minutes, hours, or even days before others read and respond to it. The following guidelines will help you create online discussions that are meaningful and useful. Post early. Can you imagine showing up to a classroom to have a discussion and no one else is there? How would it be to try to hold a discussion without anyone else participating? When all students make an effort to post their thoughts on the discussion board early on, it is easier for a meaningful discussion to develop. Read others' posts before making your own. Again, imagine sitting in a classroom where every student says essentially the same thing. Not very interesting or meaningful, right? When you post on a discussion board, you need to make sure that you're not simply repeating the things that others have already said. And the best way to do that is to actually read what they said. Write clearly and concisely. Because you can't see or hear one another in online discussion boards, it is important that what you say is especially clear and concise in order to get your meaning across without smiling, eye contact, hand gestures, and other nonverbal cues. Refer to others' posts. Saying things like, "Stephanie mentioned in her post that," or "I agreed with most of Mark's post, but I have an issue with the idea that," can help everyone see where you're coming from and make the discussion more meaningful. Explain yourself. There are times when it is appropriate to say simply, "I completely agree with that." However, these posts don't do much to make the discussion deeper or more meaningful, so they probably won't receive points. If you want points for a post, you can still start by saying, "I agree," or "I disagree," but you should then tell us why you agree, or ask a new question, or share a personal experience, anything that will help move the discussion forward. Be respectful. Remember, say what you mean without being mean. Be positive in your approach to others and diplomatic with your words. Remember to proofread what you write. Take time to read through what you wrote. Make sure that you are clearly communicating what you want to, and that you've done so in a way that is not likely to cause offense or confusion. Check for proper grammar and punctuation. A comma can make a big difference. Finally, online communication has its own rules and guidelines for etiquette. These are sometimes referred to as netiquette. Keep these rules in mind for any kind of professional online communication, including email, discussion board posts, and others. Avoid abbreviations that you might use when texting or on Facebook like IMHO, LOL, THX, IDK. Not everyone knows what these mean, and even if they do, avoiding them will help you communicate more clearly what you really mean. Make use of the subject line. Whether posting on a discussion board or writing an email, give your message a subject line that it indicates the contents of your message. All caps is like yelling at someone. You probably wouldn't yell at your classmates during an in-class discussion, so please avoid doing it online. Be careful with joking and sarcasm. Since these frequently rely on nonverbal cues like facial expressions or tone, they often do not come across very well in online communication. It is easy for someone to misunderstand your meaning or even become offended because they could not tell that you were joking. Be frugal with your exclamation points. Overusing these gives a much greater sense of urgency to your message than it likely deserves. Plus, it can make it seem like you're yelling, or that you lack maturity as a writer. By keeping these simple guidelines in mind and remembering why we hold discussions, you can help to make your online course a truly meaningful experience for everyone involved. Now go discuss something.